Good morning. Good morning, good morning. So, I am Andrea with Happy Cloud Creations, and we will be going over block 9 of the Cloudy Day Quilt Sampler today. We'll wait a couple seconds to see if some people jump on. This is the last block of the Cloudy Day Quilt Sampler. Next week, I will be sending out the finishing instructions. So I'll go over that a little bit at the end of this video just to let you guys know what you might need next week and different options. If you decide you don't want to use my finishing instructions, hey, you could start finishing right now, right? Hi, Mama O. Hello, Linda. Hello, Quilty Nurse. So we are going over block 9 of the Cloudy Day Quilt Sampler today. I was running a little late this morning. I didn't quite finish my block. Hello, Gwendolyn. Hello. I see you guys all jumping on a bunch of different names. Blinn, HC. I like how Facebook just shows up with people's names instead of usernames because it's hard to remember who is who over on Instagram. So I hope you guys are having a great day. It was raining a ton this morning. Actually, over the whole weekend, it's been raining, which is kind of nice. Everything's green in Washington. I like the rain. But it would be nice if it like dropped 10 degrees and we could get some snow. I'm looking forward to snow. We don't typically get a lot of snow here. Hi, Lori. So I don't know if everybody's seen, today I was running late, and one of the reasons was Tuesdays my newsletter goes out, and then I post in the Facebook group, and then on my Facebook, and then on Instagram about the block, but then also I had a new pattern release today, which was the Happy Scrappy Quilt. So if you guys are at all interested in seeing what that is, go to my page, my Happy Cloud Creation page, either on Instagram or on Facebook. You can see what quilt that is. You had snow this weekend, Linda? That's awesome. Yeah, Washington doesn't get a lot of snow. We just don't get quite cold enough. At least Western Washington. Eastern Washington does get a lot of snow in the winter. Oh my goodness, Lori, 10 degrees there. Ooh, that's a little too cold for me. Hi, Laura. Yeah, we lived in Montana for 9 months when snow was a tiny baby. And the day we moved there, it was negative 30 degrees. And it was like hard to breathe. I'm not used to that cold of weather. And then it was like snow from the day we got there until like April. It didn't start melting till April. And I kind of like Washington's mild weather. We get a lot of snow, and we get a lot of rain, which isn't, I don't mind the rain because I'm inside most of the time. And, it helps things grow. But some people don't like the rain, but I don't mind it. All right, since some people are on, I guess I should get to it. If anybody has questions during this video, please let me know. I know some people had asked some questions last video after I had already jumped off, so I'll try to answer those this week. So this block pattern is similar to block 1. You just got a little bit different up here, So you're going to want to make your flying geese, and this week we are using this 3.5 by 6.5 inch flying geese. If you want to make those one at a time or with half square triangles, there's a supplemental in the block 1 blog post that tells you what size pieces you need to cut out for those if you want to use one at a time. My patterns, I'll use the 4 at one time because I love that. Once you make your flying geese, you make your little house block, which I got to that part this morning. So I just wanted you guys to see what it can look like if you use like directional print. Not all my prints are lining up, but I'm not really a stickler about that. If you are, you may want to cut out a, let's see, this is 6.5 inches wide and it is 5.5 inches tall. So you may want to cut out a 6.5 by 5.5 inch little rectangular piece, and you could cut out 2 squares that are 3.5 by 3.5, and you know, put 1 square here, and then sew down and cut off a 4th, press it, and then put your 2nd square on this other side, and sew corner to corner, fold it out and press it, and that will give you the same shape. The reason I didn't do that was that wastes these corner pieces. This pattern, I tried to do a lot of saving fabric. I didn't want to waste a lot of fabric. Hi, Mary. I'm just starting. Hello, Jeanette. Thank you, Linda. So yeah, see, it doesn't totally line up. I probably should have done it the other way and used a solid piece of this fabric and did the corners, but I wanted to do it how my instructions showed, just so you would see if you used a big print or something that was directional, that how it may turn out. It won't be like perfectly lined up, but when it's far away and it's all quilted up, it's not really going to matter. At least it doesn't matter to me. I kind of like that look of, it's like scrappy and you just don't care, right? As long as the points don't get cut off and it's still pretty, I think it's still pretty. I know some people are more stickler about that kind of thing. So we got our little house blocks, and you're going to have 4 of those. And then we got our corner blocks that are the same as corner 7, 5, 3, and 1. These little corner blocks, which is basically a 2.5, a 3.5, and then 2 strips that are 2.5 by 3.5. This is a free pattern, so if you guys are watching and you're like, oh, I want that pattern, it's free. So you can download it on my blog for free. So then you sew these pieces together and you have 4 of this unit as well. And then we get to the half square triangles. This is the only block in the whole quilt along that uses half square triangles. One of the reasons is because, hi Betty Brown. One of the reasons is when I made my Snowy Day quilt sampler, I used all half square triangles. So that I consider more of a beginner quilt pattern. And this one's the Cloudy Day quilt sampler, which is the bigger brother to Snow. And so it is a little more difficult, and it uses flying geese and other techniques in it. And so that's why instead of using 2 half square triangles, I actually did flying geese in this one. And so there's only 2 half square triangles in the whole pattern. Can you believe that? I know a lot of people don't care for half square triangles, so I'm going to go over how to make those really quickly, because some people, if you're new, you may not know. So I like to cut mine out a little bit larger, so the ending piece won't be exactly the size we need. We'll need to trim it down. So we cut out 2 4 1/4 inch pieces, and you do right sides together. Hi, Melissa from Texas. Bunch of people are jumping on Instagram too. Creative Vicky. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Anya. Hello, Leanne. So we put those 2 together, draw a line from one to another. You can't see my line because I have been using a hair marker. I prefer this over a water-soluble pen. Sometimes water-soluble pens don't wash out all the way. Or disappearing ink pens don't wash out all the way. They may leave a mark or react with certain dyes in the fabric, and I'd rather just use this, which presses a line, and you don't have to worry about any ink. Hello, Colleen. So, okay, we got our line marked, which you can't see. It just leaves a little indent. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not, because I did it this morning. I can see it. And then so from that line, you'll sew a 1/4 inch on each side. The pattern says a 1/4 inch scant. Which you should be using for the whole pattern. If for some reason you want to do a bigger seam, a regular 1/4 would be okay because we're going to be trimming this down eventually. So we'll do a 1/4 inch scant from both sides of the seam. I usually do one side and then I'll pull out my pins, boom, and then do the second side. After that's done, you can either use scissors to cut it down the center, or you can use your rotary cutter and a ruler, which most of the time I just use scissors. So then we'll have 2 pieces that look like this. You will press it with your iron to set the seam. Hi, Sherry. Betty, I'm so happy you like this pattern. You can find the Snowy Day Quilt Sampler if you go to my blog and click under free pattern downloads. It's also on Craftsy, my Craftsy account, for free as well. So if you see, this is what it will look like once you press it. Don't do a lot of motion, just press. That way your seam doesn't get wonky. And if you notice, this one I've already trimmed down, and this one has not been trimmed down. We have the dog ears. So all my patterns I trim down. So like the Snowy Day Quilt Sampler, you trim down. And so if you make it and you don't trim them, your boxes will end up not the right size. They won't go together correctly. Sorry, I got a little tickle in my throat. So if you see, it is trimmed down slightly. So there will be a little bit of waste on this. If you are really good at straight seams, you could do 2 4-inch squares instead of 2 4 1/4. I used to do it closer to that, basically a 1/2 inch larger than your finished size that you needed. I bumped it up a little bit so that it would be easier for beginners, and trimming down, you get a perfect square. Hi, Denise. Hi, Lisa. So to trim these down, when you're trimming them down, you want the result as it's even on both sides. These triangles are even. These triangles are even. So I usually like to use my small square inch ruler, but I couldn't find it this morning. So I will demonstrate on my large square inch ruler. I like to line the center seam up with this line on my ruler. If you line that up, you will get perfect triangles on each side. If you're just lining it up from this corner, okay, 3.5 by 3.5, you know, it may be off. Or like you just do this side. I'm going to trim that side. You want to make sure it's even. Both sides are even, the triangles. What I usually do is I line it up, and then I press hard, and I trim the top and the side, and then I'll flip it around, and I'll trim the top and the side. That's what's nice about a square ruler. I usually use my 6.5 inch square ruler. I just have a 12.5 and a 6.5 inch one. Some people have a variety of sizes. You could also, if your block is smaller than 6 inches, you could do that on the top and the side of this long 6 by 24 inch ruler. Because I know most people have this. Hi, Grandma Eddie. Lots of people are popping on today. You have fun, Betty. She said she's going to cut out the patterns today. I know. So today's the last day, last block. So if you haven't started yet, you can go through and cut them all at once, sew them all at once. It'll go by really quickly. I know doing one block at a time can take a little bit longer. Does anybody have questions with the half square triangles? I know this is more of a beginner type block. They're very versatile, and they're a lot of fun to make. Once you get them down, you can do all sorts of designs with a half square triangle. You could just do a bunch and then lay out them and make your own design. And then once you got those done, I already started pinning. I was like, oh, let me see if I can finish this block before they get on, but I didn't. So maybe I should take the pins out so I can show you better. So then we sewed 2 together. Oh, let's get that out too. This, the way the laptop looks at me makes everything backwards. Okay, so what I did was first you sew the top 2 together and the bottom 2 together. I like to line them up when I'm sewing them, kind of put a pin in it like this so that those seams don't wiggle around on you when you're sewing it. And then once you sew the bottom 2 top together, the top 2 together, the bottom 2 together, you will sew those rows together. And I do that the same with this one. I'll put a little pin here, a little pin here, here, maybe in between 2. If you're having trouble with the points becoming points, you may want to, one of your colors, both of mine I press to the dark. You may want to, your darker one press to the dark, and if you have a lighter one, press to the background fabric. Then they will nest together a little bit better. I just did both to the dark and mine turned out fine, and the bulk isn't too much, just because we're doing them on the ends. And then we have our center, and you want to make sure this is 6.5 by 6.5. If you don't trim it down, it may not line up with these top blocks correctly, and you want to make sure that they are 6.5 inch wide. So when you add these 3 blocks, these 3 blocks, and these 3 blocks, they all go together correctly. Hi, I'm working on the past blocks today. Oh, have fun with that, Flow Creations. Yeah, so they're pretty easy to go together. So if you haven't started yet, it'll be really easy to catch up. Yes, Snowy? I already gave you milk in a sippy. If you're out of milk, you can have a little bit of water. And that's another reason why I didn't get my block done. I got kids. And I had to get them ready this morning. So we got this, and we have these and these, and we put them all together, and we make a pretty block, which the instructions, I'm a visual person, so that's why I like to do diagrams on all of my pictures, all my patterns. So we have the 9 blocks, sew them together in rows of 3, and then sew the 3 rows together. Does anyone have any questions? Where can I go to watch all the videos starting with block 1? Betty, since you're on Facebook, the Facebook group actually has a video section. You can, if you're on a laptop or a computer, it's easier to find them, and it'll actually be on your Facebook. It'll be on the left-hand side. It has a list of all the different things: posts, events, files. It'll have videos. Click on the videos. All the videos are right there. On Instagram, I wasn't able to save them because you have to be a verified account to save them on the IGTV. So if you're an Instagram user, you can check them out on the Facebook group. What size rulers do you recommend having? I'm sure it's probably beneficial to have like all the rulers, but I like the 6, and I got this 12.5 with a 6.5 inch smaller one. It was a double pack at Joann's, and I had a coupon, so I was able to get that at a fairly good price. I like the 6.5 inch because a lot of my blocks, the units, I will use that. And then the bigger one, I would like to get a 16.5 inch because I do a lot of 16.5 inch blocks, but I still use this to help square up my blocks and square up my quilts, where I'll put this in the corner of my quilt, and then I will use this as well, so that make sure the corner is squared, and then down the side with my side ruler. So a 6 by 24 inch for sure. This 12.5 and the 6.5 are really nice. That's all I really have, but I know some people have smaller ones. Like if you use a lot of 4.5 inch squares or blocks, that would be a nice size to have. I would like to get the 16.5 inch square if I can find it. It's like I had a cold 2 weeks ago almost, and I still have a little tickle in my throat from it. Sorry, guys. Any other questions? Hi, baby girl. Oh, she's gone. She's pretty cute, isn't she? I love your instructions. They're awesome. Thank you, Linda. You guys are awesome. I'm so happy you guys decided to join this quilt along with me and have fun and make a quilt with me. 6.5 inch ruler is the best. I agree, Betty. I like it a lot because then also I'll use it to draw down the lines, because this one's, I find the bigger one's a little cumbersome for that. And so I'll use that smaller one, but I don't know what I did with it. It's probably on my desk under a pile of fabric. Any other questions? Thank you, Sherry. I'm glad you liked my instructions too. Good morning, Lynn. I'm glad you guys are having fun. Thank you, Linda. I'm glad you're having fun. I'm having fun too. It's fun seeing the same quilt, but in different, totally different fabrics, you know? It gives you ideas for the next, I'm like, the next quilt I make, I really like that fabric combo. Maybe I'll make it in that combo, you know? It's fun. Sorry, I don't know why my phone is making bunches of noises. When is the next quilt along? Good question, Denise. As of right now, I do not have plans for another quilt along, just because the winter months are pretty busy. So if I did have another quilt along, it probably wouldn't start till the beginning of February. But I have not decided on a pattern or if it will even happen yet. So I guess maybe next month or January, I will ask the Facebook group if they do want to do another quilt along and what pattern they would like to use to do that quilt along. If there is a quilt pattern that you've purchased from me and you're like, hey, I really need motivation to make this quilt, it'd be fun quilt along quilt, hey, maybe Andrea will do it. Let me know, because I don't know if there's interest to do any quilt alongs in any of my other patterns. Creative's Grid has a 16.5 inch ruler. Bought mine at my local quilt shop. Ooh, good idea, Gwendolyn. Maybe I should go to my local quilt shop. I don't usually go there. Last time I went there, they just had a bunch of fabric that wasn't my style, and they don't open till 10. And I usually like to drop my son off at school at 9 and then go straight shopping, get all my stuff done early. And I went there and I'm like, oh, they're not open yet. They don't open till 10. So maybe I should check them out. I have the 20.5 inch that I use for larger blocks. Oh, that's a good idea, Lynn, because I do have a couple patterns that are 20-inch blocks. One's a 21-inch block. So 20 inch, maybe I should get a 20.5 inch instead of a 16.5 inch. That way, kill two birds with one stone, right? You love it for diagonally lines too. Yep, I love the square blocks, the square rulers. It's a lot easier to do lines and stuff. How about one that is just two colors, like the background and a print? Interesting, Mary. I'll have to think about that. Because most of my patterns have at least 4 colors. Right? Most of them. Just because I like colors. But a background, I think the next pattern I'm writing up, is kind of it's a fat quarter friendly one too, but you probably could just use 2 colors. It would look cool in just 2 colors. I will check the pattern that I purchased from you soon. I love your tutorials, or you live my tutorials. So please do another quilt along, pretty please. I like doing quilt alongs too. I think they're fun. My husband the other night thought they seemed stressful, and he's like, you don't have a job and you're giving yourself a job by doing these quilt alongs, because I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I have that kind of job, but I don't work outside the home. I just this is kind of like a hobby business, quilting, so it's fun quilting along with you guys. So I don't know, I'm like, it's not stressful, honey, I'm fine. Love your quilt alongs. You are an awesome designer and instructor. Thank you, Lori. My grandson is able to do your patterns too. Thank you for all you do. That's awesome. That's why I like beginner friendly stuff. I try to do beginner friendly or adventurous beginner. So kids, that's cool that he can do it too. The local quilt shop is good for specialty items. Joann's is my go-to spot. Love Joann's. I don't think my Joann's has a larger. This was the largest square one they had. My Joann's, I have 2 Joann's nearby. They're both about like 30 minutes away. My local quilt shop is like probably 15 minutes away. But my computer is right here. So I do a lot of my shopping online. But I probably should support my local quilt shop a lot more, huh? Hello, Ella. So I don't know, is there any other questions about this block? I know, I figured you meant love. Flora Creation said she lives my quilt alongs. I figured you said love. I figured that. So next week we will be getting our finishing instructions. So if you aren't quite sure how to finish this quilt, you can wait for those. If you want to make yours like mine with the, let's see if I can pull this. The large sashing and the cornerstones. I give you directions on how to strip piece these large cornerstone blocks. If you are saying, hey, 72 by 72 is a little too large for me, I would like a little bit smaller quilt. 1, you could just use no sashing. 2, you could do a smaller sashing of like, since these squares are 2.5 inches, you could do 1 cornerstone that's 2.5 by 2.5 inches, and then you could do 2.5 by 16.5 inch sashing strips if you want a little bit smaller quilt. Let's see. You got yours from Amazon and it wasn't super spendy. Oh, really? I'll have to look at Amazon. We have Amazon Prime. That's where I do a lot of my shopping. I buy my batting from Amazon just because sometimes it's like 2-day shipping, and sometimes I'm like, oh no, I'm out of batting. I need batting right now. And I don't feel like driving 30 minutes. So also next week, you got to think about batting. I like warm and white or warm and natural batting. You want to get something that's at least 3 inches on each side of your quilt. So if you're doing the 72 by 72 inch one, you're going to want something that is, let's see, 78 by 78 inches. What I typically will do is get a larger size batting and like a queen or king size, do 1 throw out of it, and I have a leftover amount for either baby, or I can sew the pieces together, do another throw, or I make a lot of pot holders, so I will use that leftover batting as pot holders. Cornerstones hate you, Amy? Well, you know what? You could just do no cornerstones. You could just do sashing in between each block, and then just don't have that chain effect. Because this quilt has like the chain effect where these cornerstones line up. And since you did all of yours different colors, these ones, you could even do no sashing at all, Amy, and it would look awesome. Like, it would be a smaller, probably like a baby size if you just stuck to the 9 blocks. Or you could add, if you did no sashing at all, you could do the 9 together and then do a border fabric. Yes, Mary, I did cut my hair. Well, I didn't cut it. A lady cut it. It was getting long and straggly. I had it really short, and I grew it out, and then I was like waiting to grow it out so I could cut it a little shorter. Good idea. Yeah, I will do sashing, but no cornerstones. Hey, that'll be perfect because it's not like you don't have those, you know, the chain effect. You don't need the chain effect. It would be cool to see the different sashing methods you guys decide to do. So next week, batting, backing fabric, binding fabric. And if you don't have those right away, that's fine too. Feel free to keep posting your pictures in the group because, you know, we won't be doing another quilt along till at least February. So just keep posting them. I love seeing the pictures. Basting. I like to use basting spray. I get this one at Joann Fabrics with whatever, like 40, 50% off coupon, and it makes it pretty not too expensive. Or you can use basting pins. Some people also like to sew baste it. So these are handy to have.Ese are the curved basting pins. And then also, if you like the straight line quilting look, like I usually do. I don't know if Instagram saw that too. So straight line quilting, I usually go from top to bottom, straight line. Any kind of like quilting other than free motion, the walking foot is very helpful because it pulls the top fabric and the bottom fabric at the same time. So all of your fabric is going through your machine at the same time. And then also mine came with a guide so that I can set it to, okay, I want my lines to be 1 inch apart. And I will just do one seam down one quilting line down the quilt and then just start lining it up with this little guide. I'm doing one like yours and one on point. Oh, cool, Lori. I'm excited to see the one on point. I know somebody else did one on point, but she only did like 4 blocks, I think. So that'll be cool. That'll make it a lot larger too if you do it on point. I can't wait to see that. That'll be cool. Okay, I don't know. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Next week, we're going to finish these quilts, and then we're going to have something nice and snuggly for ourselves or an awesome gift for a friend or family member. You're going to do quilt as you go. Oh, cool, Melissa. I've never tried quilt as you go. That would be really cool. Are you going to still do the cornerstones? Are you going to do one little cornerstone instead of the big cornerstone? Because the bigger cornerstone are 6.5 inches, finished 6 inches. If anybody is wondering, because I know people get antsy at this point. Are like, all my blocks are done. I want to finish. I probably should have just gave you the finishing instructions today, but I thought I would make the quilt along a little bit longer and make you wait 1 more week. Ha ha ha. All right, so I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything else. Anything else I can tell you. Batting, backing, binding, and a way to baste next week. That's what we're going to need. And your background fabric for your sashing, if you decide to do sashing. If you don't decide to do sashing, this would make a good size baby quilt if you just stuck all 9 blocks together, or because that would be like 48 by 48. It'd be a good lap quilt for like a wheelchair quilt. I post the finishing instructions Friday. I'll see. Are your videos on YouTube? No, Betty. I don't know. Maybe I should try to look into doing that. That would be cool. They are all in the group, and I'm not going to delete them from the group. You could also search. There's a little search bar in the group, and you could type in Cloudy Day Quilt Sampler video, or you may be able to type in Happy Cloud Creations, and then it will pop up with all my previous posts, and you could scroll through it that way. But if you, I know, I wish mobile devices, it was easier to find the videos because it's kind of a pain. I could try to look into getting them on YouTube because I think I can save them off of Facebook and put them on my computer. Something to think about. I don't know. So I hope you guys have a great day. I don't think there's anything else I can share today. So next week we'll finish those quilts up. I'm going to try to get mine finished, at least the top, by next week. And maybe I'll try to get this one quilted and start the binding so I can show you guys about binding if you guys are new. Hi, Shannon. So I'm just about done. So, but if anybody is just jumping on now, you can watch the replay on Instagram for 24 hours, and the one on Facebook will be in the Facebook group forever. I will post it in the announcement section so that it's easy to find. I wonder if I could, maybe I should post all the, Betty, maybe I'll put all the videos up in the announcement section. I wonder how many announcements they'll let you have in there. Sorry, I was late going back to watch the beginning. Oh, sorry, Tanya. Yeah, I know people are busy during the day. A lot of people can't make it, which I totally understand. So you guys don't have to be sorry that you missed it. You can watch it later. Okay, you are so good with instructions. Thank you, Betty. You are so nice. Oh, thank you, Tanya. Thank you for your time and dedication. Thank you. I'm having fun with you guys, and so I figure it's like part of my little hobby to quilt along with you guys and see the same quilt with all different fabrics is so cool to me. So make sure you guys are posting your pictures either on Instagram or on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, make sure you're using the hashtag so I can locate it, or you can even tag me in your post. Oh, you're the best. Far UK quilts. Thank you all for quilting along with me. You know, I know I could be doing this and just talking to myself right now, but all of you guys are joining in with me, which makes me very happy. So I can't wait to see everybody's finished quilts next week. Well, probably not next week. I'm sure you guys will post it maybe a week after that. Okay, so far UK quilts, make sure you're using if your account is private, I can't see the photos, but if your account is public, make sure to use the hashtag CloudyDayQAL. CloudyDayQAL, so that means quilt along. If you use that hashtag, I can find it, or if you tag me in the photos with the little @ symbol, Happy Cloud Creations. I'll be watching the replay, LOL. I have a 6-month and a 17-month-old granddaughters. Ah! It's been nuts. I can see that would be a little nuts, huh? I didn't get much done when my kids were babies. I didn't sew much at all. I kind of like took a break from my business and like didn't do anything with it. And then I started back up when Snowy was about 1. It's hard. It's hard with little kids to get things done. That's why I woke up at 4 with my husband this morning to try to get things done. But I didn't get them done. So hopefully today, tonight, or tomorrow morning, I will get to finish my block and share the finished block with you guys. I'll post a picture. So you guys have a wonderful day, and I will be back on here at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time next Tuesday. And I will probably release the finishing instructions on Tuesday. Sorry, making you guys wait. So I will talk to you guys then. Goodbye.